Alright, just getting started a couple minutes early today because I don't feel like sitting here and waiting for it to actually hit 2 o'clock today. So, I did a little bit this past evening and this morning to prepare for today. I don't think I've done enough to prepare, if I'm honest, but we'll figure that out. So, things I've done, you'll notice I have one more Estus Flask shard than before. Figured out how to get to that one that I didn't get in Bright Cove, as it turns out. So, that's a whole thing. Turns out I just needed to jump from a high place, which made perfect sense when I looked at it, but I did not really process it at first. I also just heard a really weird thud, literally the second I got started, so hang on. Let's see what that was. I mean, it could be better, it could be worse there, Lark. Ugh. How it goes. Just needed to check on something that I heard the second I hit the go live button, because of course, you know, life be that way sometimes. But yeah, I have forsaken the faith stat, I've thrown it in the bin. In its place, we've gained significant endurance, some more adaptability. I do still have a little bit of attunement so that I can use the pyromancy we have on hand, so there's still something to work with there. Dexterity and strength have gone up, obviously. We are hard committing to just physical destruction for the most part, and making harder use of our bow since we've already been putting it to heavy use anyway. The bow fulfills the same role I had intended for our brain. It's the same role I had intended for our magic. Also, apparently, the third dragon ring I should have put on a long time ago. Its durability's terrible. But it gives us even more equip load, and it gives me health and stamina. Why have I not been wearing that the entire time? Only just now noticed that that existed. Pretty sure we picked that up when we were in a bad place, so I just didn't even think about it. But yeah, the main thing I did to prepare for today, the easiest way to demonstrate that will be to show you the bonfire. You'll note a 2 next to No Man's Wharf, for example. I used one of my bonfire aesthetics there. I have also used bonfire aesthetics extensively in Brightstone Cove, Seldora. All 3 bonfires there have been intensified. I did not do the boss fights in either of these locations, or technically any of these locations, under the new circumstances. I did try the spider fight, I just didn't end up pulling it off before we had to get started today, and I didn't want to try to rush doing it again. The trip back and forth down to that, though, was incredibly lucrative. I pulled some, like, 150,000 souls out of that, just out of a couple trips within an hour. So it was very lucrative just killing spiders over and over. Not to mention pawning off what I picked up from them off on Gavlan. Now, speaking of Gavlan, thanks to him having poison arrows, we have 700 of those on hand. That was part of what I was spending that money on. Could have even more equip load if I put the Royal Soldier ring on, but I would rather have this be my utility slot still, so we will keep cycling that most likely. For example, we'll probably put the Hawk Ring on for what we are likely to be doing next. Give me extended bow range for my Magic Dragon Rider bow, which has been upgraded, not as much as I would like because I ran out of Petrified Dragon Bone and I had no particularly good way to grind more of those. Hide Knight Iron Mask is maxed out, Vengarl armor is maxed out, my chest armor is maxed out, all of that's as good as it can get now. Part of my plan with wandering around in Bonfire Asceticing was I was hoping to find a couple more upgraded rings, but my memory failed me as far as the clever idea there went. In that I forgot where the rings I wanted were, so didn't end up making any use of that information. Did learn that the Royal Sorcerer turns out appears in Seldora yet again, annoying little prick that he is. He got killed twice, because when I asceticed the area, he also came back again. So I murdered him again, because he deserves it. Couple other things I have done some work on is we now have a Lightning Blacksmith Hammer +4 as my blunt force option, in case I have a specific need for that again. Not that I find it likely that we're going to need that anymore, but I was feeling spiteful enough to prepare something like that. We are now using the Bound Wooden Shield again because it's a decently light shield with good physical protection. So we shall see whether that ends up working out for me or not. Obviously, Disc Chime has been tossed to the wind because we no longer have faith. Threw that whole stat line out the window. I did realize, actually, to go back in this menu again for a second, that the... Where is it? It's in here somewhere. The Mace of the Insolent would have actually been pretty good for us had I noticed that it was there before I got rid of my faith. Because that would have actually been a better option, most likely, than the Blacksmith's Hammer for us, because of the fact that it works with faith and it does lightning and dark. And it also is a means of using miracles in and of itself, so I would have been able to switch the Disc Chime out for a different shield that way, too. Not that it's likely that that shield will see too much use considering we are using the Scythe as our primary weapon, but it never hurts to have options on hand in case you need them. There was one other notable thing I did in here, and I am blanking on what it was. The whip has been upgraded a little bit more, but that's not really that notable. Did all of this morning, so you would think I would remember. I did level up the poison recards we have, but it's probably not gonna actually see the light of day. In hindsight, probably not worth it. Obviously, our Dark Varangian Sword is still somewhat relevant. Like, it's about as strong as our Scythe is, so situations where we need to fight in closer, it may still come in handy. We are going to make use of the key to the embedded before we go too far, because I do know what to do with that, I'm pretty sure. The funny thing is, our now increased dexterity didn't actually do too much for me. Like, essentially, we just flipped where the prioritization in terms of our extra damage on our Scythe is. And I do feel like the Scythe is actually a little bit weaker as a result now. Having lost 15 lightning in exchange for 10 physical. But the fact that we have so much more stamina now is kind of a big deal. Oh yeah, I did also give myself 8 more adaptability. That was where the 8 missing points you may have noticed that weren't traded out from the rest of the stat line came from, or went to rather. So our dodging is slightly better and our item usage is slightly better. I mostly just wanted to level off a bunch of our stats. Obviously the 3 extra dexterity you see there is from when I was grinding. I got extra levels there. I also realized that there's a routine source of divine blessings in Seldora. the pigs there turn into big boars, and those boars drop divine blessings. So that's a whole thing. So if I wanted to spam divine blessings, I could. Now, there's a very real part of my brain that's thinking about just eating all of these fancy souls I have at this point, because I'm not using any of them. Because the collector in me wants to keep them and make use of them and, like, collect all the boss weapons to show them off and everything. The realist in me is saying, hey, how about you just eat those for the souls they're worth and just move on with your life? Because we never did find the other smith that I know exists, because obviously there are boss souls that we can't use at Strayed, so there has to be another weaponsmith somewhere, and I'm 99.9% sure we passed the area where they were already. And I'm on the fence as to whether I care enough to go back for them at this point. Considering we are more or less in the end game now, I do believe. Considering we're doing the memories, I feel like that's correct, that's basically the end game. Like, it's not the end of the game, but it's like the final phases, basically, so that's where my head's at right now. Now, as to the memories, we had a really big problem with that last time. And I'm just kind of strolling around because I want to fully get these thoughts out before things start going sideways again. So we know that we need to go to a bunch of memories of the giants. We've learned that since last time, because we got the Ashen Heart and we used the Ashen Heart to go in their memories. We don't really fully understand what the purpose of that is, but, you know, that's Dark Souls. You only know the purpose if you've really sat there and paid full attention to every single thing. And even then you may not know entirely until it unfolds after the fact. But I know of 3 memories, and I think those are the major ones? I wouldn't be surprised if there's more that I'm missing. And I do know there are some attached to the DLC that obviously isn't going to be relevant to us because we don't have that. So that's not a thing to worry about. The problem's gonna be succeeding in dealing with those memories is still going to be a problem, I suspect. Having improved ourselves yet further, I feel more comfortable, but I have a strong suspicion that there's gonna be issues still. Hey there, Jay. Well, we'll see how dank this ends up being. It may very well be bad. But we gotta do what we gotta do. Today's going fine so far. The game, well, we've only started, so we will see how it plays out from there. Considering I'm diving straight into Giants' memories, I have a feeling this is going to be a rough one. But, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, so we'll make it happen. How you doing? I wish these doors opened faster. I'm going the wrong way. I was already on the right side of the door. Silly me, silly me. That's where we want to be. Right here. Back my Hawk Ring, because I'm going to try to do the clever thing that didn't work for us last time. The idea is going to be, since I've gotten yet better with my bow, I go down, I bait the Giant Lord, I run for my goddamn life, don't get exploded, and we kill the Giant Lord. Oh. Since when was there a summon? Oh. There's a summon side for Drummond now. Interesting. Oh yeah, because I think I wasn't human when I went in here any of the other times. Right. So I have a sneaking suspicion Drummond's just gonna get exploded by the bombardment. But if we can get him across alive, he'll do a great job of distracting the Giant Lord for us. No, Drummond, don't just run out there. What are you doing? He's gonna die. Oh, he's just going straight for the Giant Lord, I think. Ow. I really gotta stop running straight into the fireballs. That doesn't help me at all. Oh, Drummond has set everything off, and he is actually just fighting the Giant Lord by himself right now. Because he just ran past everything in a much better way than I did. Here I was thinking taking cover behind the head was going to be a good idea. I really thought I just got shafted immediately there. Why does the Giant Lord want me? Fight your enemy. I mean, sure, I might be your enemy too. But he's right next to you. He's clearly the bigger problem. He is the threat. I am, but I'm further away. I'm only mildly annoying, clearly. How could a tiny man with a bow be clearly he's such a problem for a big, scary giant like him? He's so powerful. How could he be bothered at all by bows and arrows? I'm totally not slowly poisoning him to death at all. No, not in the slightest. Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious. I'm doing nothing evil here. Plan is working much better. Ow! I timed my shot wrong. That was supposed to be a roll, but I was mid-shot, so I couldn't roll. You're not wrong about that, Lark. You're not wrong. But I was hoping he'd be much more distracted by the tiny man stabbing him in the ankles. I appear to have been incorrect. But having Drummond there, very good idea. So we're gonna keep doing that. I have definitely done my share of ankle biting in my time. If you've gotta do it, you gotta do it. I've also shot many an enemy in the ankle. It does definitely appear, though, that the Giant Lord is immune to poison. He would have gotten poisoned with the amount of arrows I put in him, and his health bar was not moving on its own at any point. So our big problem is getting over there sooner, I would say, and ideally not getting bombarded along the way. There we go. There goes that bruiser. He's gonna die to poison. What, the 5-stream streak there, or what? Oh, Drummond is getting far worse off this time. I'm getting better off, and he's getting worse off. That's not good. I need him to be in better conditions. That's a problem. I disagree with that hitting. And we're dead immediately. Thanks, game. Thanks for the robbery. Love that. I think you can tell by what just happened there how it's going. They're not sure. Literally walked up, got hit by the wave around the wave, and got immediately obliterated. Because, you know, Dark Souls hitboxes are always so fair and reasonable, and there's never been anything wrong with them ever. Anyway, going back in again. We will succeed at this eventually. We were very close when I got greedy and got slammed, so we will make it work. Considering how poorly it went for getting Drummond across there the first time, or the second time rather, it's probably just as well that we died there, so he'll have more health to distract the Giant Lord with. It is fascinating how very easily distracted these giants are, though. Hee hee. We are throwing away the souls we're getting from these guys, and that's fine. They're really not that many, so it's kind of pointless to worry about. If I could walk back out of here, I would wait till after I dealt with all of this to summon Drummond, but unfortunately, I don't have that kind of control over this situation. I gotta stop running right into that. I see the balls land, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I have a clear spot, but no, there's 3 sets of them is the problem. Oh, that's gonna hurt. In a second. Yep. Drinky pop, drinky pop, drinky pop. Don't get run over. Why did that one... Now, wait a damn minute. How did Drummond get across there without triggering the big rolling head that time? Because he triggered it the other 2 times. I didn't even process that because I'm like, oh, it isn't going to be in the way because Drummond triggers it. That time it didn't, and your guess is as good as mine as to why. I love consistency. We're really just off to a very happy start today, as you can tell. This section of the game is going to just continue to aggravate me. But I don't have a choice because this is progress. We don't have anywhere else to go other than to different memories, and none of them are really going to be better, necessarily. And I would just... Well, I guess I should just say fuck it and go for it, really. It works for Drummond, so, you know, why wouldn't it work for me too, right? Haha. Get out of the way of the death roll. Just pray that Drummond doesn't get crushed along the way. Immediately get fireballed. Because of course I did. Okay, Drummond's on his way. I'm actually here before him this time, which is an interesting situation to find ourselves in. And the Giant Lord actually moved up to meet him, so this could actually work in our favor. This gives me a little bit more room away from the Lord. Except he's going for me anyway. Okay, now he's retargeting. How do you feel about Fireball? Not too jazzed about it. But you know what? It's quicker than my bow. Ow. Collateral damage. Okay, I'm safe from the down stab here. How are those missing? Come on now. I'm getting burned a little bit for those wondering why my health was going down there. I was not paying attention to where I was standing. A little too focused on what big man up there is doing, as it turns out. Once we get down to it being me versus the giant, which is likely to happen with the way Drummond's health's going, it's going to become a little bit of an issue. So we got to pick up the pace here if we can. My stamina come back a bit. I really should be eating my green blossoms, but I keep forgetting about them. It's almost like I carry them so that I can shoot more. I can't believe I got away with that. And we're good. Drummond actually got the kill, which, you know what? Good for him. Giant's Kinship and a Giant Lord's Soul. Now we can follow up by going down the hole here. Wow, that was 60,000 souls. My god. Thing is, we've been in this memory for a while. Oh, another Soul of a Giant, and we're done. That's one memory down. It only took, like, 12 attempts today. Not actually, but you get the point. Fucking Navlan. Piss off, you little rat bastard. I'm so tired of your nonsense. I've gotten very used to killing you, and that's not a good thing. Anyway, Navlan's dead again. Yeah. Guess that does refund me one of my human effigies, so that's good. Anyway, let's go spend all of our free souls before I lose them. And that'll get us up to 45 dexterity, which is probably where that's gonna stay. I don't think I'm gonna want more than 45. I had honestly not even considered doing more than 35 back when we were still mixing with casting. But now that we're prioritizing the bow, it makes way more sense to hard focus the dexterity up a bit. Obviously not leaving our strength behind entirely for multiple reasons, one of which being our Dragon Rider bow actually does scale better with strength than it does with dexterity. But the dexterity is a key point for our scythe as well, so going between the two does give us advantages. I do still want to have gone for a bow that is better for dexterity, but we just don't have one. I'm pretty sure I just missed the better dexterity bow somewhere along the way, and that's just gonna be how it's gonna be. As to getting rid of the other 14,000, good question. How many arrows have I used up so far? Only 50. I didn't actually use up as many as I thought.
What?
Can I afford... No, it's 17, not 14.
No interest.
Hold that thought. Do I have anything I can get that amount from here? Because if we can just grab another dragon bone, that I do believe is what I need to net myself one more level for my bow, so that'll work. And it's a way to get rid of those souls, so
Visit me again.
Works for me.
Whenever you please.
I think 2,000's not enough to afford the upgrade, but I'll take a look to make sure that I have enough. Not the armor. Yeah, no, it's slightly not enough, but it is enough in terms of bones. So we'll just eat a couple more consumables to make that happen, then. Because that's a hefty damage increase. There we go.
What?
Yes, me again. If you would just tell me your damn prices without me having to go in the menu, we wouldn't be going through these conversations so often. And there we go, that bow is maxed out now.
I'll be around.
Which is another downside to the Dragon Rider bow, I would say, is the fact that it caps out at 5 instead of 10. Those are good stats, though. So, can't complain too much. Now, to remember where the other giant was. It's also, obviously, here in the forest. There's one in Soldier's Rest, and there's one in the middle. I don't think we've gone in the Soldier's Rest memory yet. So I guess we'll go ahead and do that. And see how badly this goes for us. Now, obviously, we are not solely an archer. We do have the pyromancy and the rest of it. So I do avoid going one trick, as we all know. Yeah, it be Natra. The highest streak in the damn land. Oh, is this one not a memory? Oh, Seed of... What? I thought this was gonna be a memory. Yeah, there's the giant soul. Seed of a tree of giants. Enemies react to invaders from other worlds. Neat. That is, however, irrelevant. This one's resting at peace, though, so I guess I don't need to worry about this? Huh. Okay. Maybe that's a DLC one, then, maybe? I don't know. I really thought that one was going to be one of the ones I needed. That leaves me with a question mark, because that means there is still one missing somewhere. Because there's the one that's over by where the trap is. There's the one I just did, and I'm 99.9% sure there's one more. Just means I'm gonna have to go find it. Because there's the one right over here. That just has the one dude guarding it. Because we went in this memory before. This is the one with the town under attack where we met Drummond to begin with. Which, having buffed myself up for combat a lot more, we may very well be able to fight our way through the giants a lot better. Yeah, the memory of Vamar. So half of our problem with this one was we couldn't stay in memory long enough. Remember, this door gets busted open. You don't want to come through the door? Fine. I'm not above just assassinating you with my bow at this point. Bold of you to assume I care. Honor went out the window about 4 bosses ago. Oh, you are actually coming in here. Okay. No, you're not. Are you or aren't you? But yeah, you'll notice we have better iframes than we used to. Obviously, it needs to be paired with me being better about actually dodging still. But I'll take what I can get. Oh wow, I actually knocked him down with that. Look at that. Somehow could not hit him while he was down at all, though. Thanks, game. Why did he fall over? I'm confused, and I'm just gonna not question it. I'm gonna not bother with dealing with you, I think. Ow. Scurry into the rabbit hole instead. See, part of our problem was I couldn't figure out where to go from here. Because going up here led to death. Going to the left led to death. Going down the middle led to death. There's gotta be a right answer somewhere. Ow. Ow. That's why up here's a bad idea, for those wondering. Is these two funny guys with their fireballs. Though they can't seem to reach here, so maybe I can deal with them from here, then. Okay, he's poisoned, so he's dead. Remember when we did, like, no damage at all to these guys? I remember that. It wasn't great. Okay. I suppose it's a good thing we got a death treadmill out of the way early on today. Even if it's not necessarily my favorite thing. Is there a path from here? I feel like going down in the water is just gonna kill me. Or was I just missing this the entire time? Because that'd be very funny. Hey, big man. Yeah, it would appear that there's a thing behind him. I don't know why he's having a moment, but I'm gonna take advantage of it. Down he goes. Yeah, I think our entire problem was I was just missing this turn the entire time in here. So I'm assuming this is what I want. Yep, Soul of a Giant. We're done in that memory. Okay, that's 2. We just need to go find the 3rd one now. I'm so mad that that went so much easier than it had before. All because I just didn't know where they wanted me to go. So now comes the problem of where's the missing giant? And there's a very real possibility that I actually have to go back down to the boss room. That's a possible answer. Because I made note of those 3 giants, thinking those were the ones I was gonna need. But I clearly forgot one somewhere. And that's the one I actually need. Is there one down there anywhere? I feel like the first one I noted was the one over in the area we just were, the one that I just finished. I don't know that, but I feel like that's true. But I'm gonna do some verification. This area is absolutely just chump change to us at this point, so not really an issue. That's where the one that was resting in peace was, down that way. Or was there one down in the fire hole? The one that led to us actually getting into the salamander section. Maybe there was a giant over there? I feel like most of the giants would be later accessed, but I don't know that. Because, like, obviously, this is where the other one was, the one where the giant lord was. Good morning, Gab. Hope you slept well. How you doing? We're just trying to puzzle out where the last memory I'm looking for is. And then just kind of hoping that things will make sense from there. Now let's test the theory of it being down where the boss was. Oh yeah, that's where the other path for Fireland is too. Not really gonna go that route. Don't need to, I don't think. Okay, yeah, there's nothing here. I didn't think so, but it's one of those things where it's like, well, maybe there was a body still here, and I was just forgetting. And I'm pretty sure the salamanders are all alive and well in there, so I don't really want to deal with it that way. Yeah, considering they're alive and well right there. And I don't want to get into this segment here. It's the segment outside that I'm thinking of. Trying to remember if there's a giant out there. But I'm pretty sure that the one I was just talking about is connected to the same place, so I don't think so. Which begs the question of, where the hell is our missing giant? You would think a giant would be a hard thing to lose. Yeah, because the area I was just thinking about is past this door, which is also where the giant lord memory is that we were quite literally just talking about. So it's not that way. Maybe it's over there? The area I keep spinning around and managing to avoid going to. Because my brain is having problems. It's almost like having an additional 2 weeks between you and when you last did any of this causes additional problems or something. What a concept. Yes, yes, good for you. You managed to hit me. Perish. Yeah, I think there's a hole in the floor, like, on the other side or something. Like, we go up and around and there's a hole in the floor, though. What was behind this door again? Or is this the way up and around? One of the two is correct. We'll figure it out. This, I think, is where the pursuer was? Yeah, this is where the pursuer was, which I'm 90% sure there isn't gonna be a giant up here. Though, funny that there's the broken head here, and all the ballistas and battlements and broken things. It's almost like this is where we just fought the Giant Lord or something. Funny that. Funny that. Oh, wait, there is a giant here, actually. I'm glad I checked. Are you the one I'm looking for? You are? Shouldn't this have been the one where you fight the Giant Lord? Because this would be the location where he died? Unless maybe it appeared now that I killed the Giant Lord? So now we're going into his memory, which is a different spot for some reason? Memory of Oro. One cannot reside within memory for long. Really surprising how so many of the memories of these giants take place in places the giants can't fit. Though considering we were told that this originally was going to be like a time travel plot or something along those lines, it kind of makes sense that the whole giant memory thing is not actually going to entirely line up. Also, my scythe is still damaged from before, so that's upsetting. Piss off. Oh yeah, I also brought this Great Combustion along. Nice little party trick for dealing with close encounters when I don't have good other options left. Let's go ahead and burn one of my repair powders because I have a bunch of them. I just don't really use them. There we go. This way we don't have to overcomplicate things. There's a Pharos Lockstone spot in this memory? What? I mean, we do have a bunch of Lockstones, because I got a couple extras from the bonfire aesthetic stuff I was doing. So you know what? Sure, why not? Let's find out what this does. Maybe this will bring me good luck. Ah. Okay, it's a nested one. That's interesting. It's a trap. Soul of a Hero, 3 of them. Okay. Pointless ahead. Liar ahead. Illusion ahead. Is it pointless, or is the lie that it's pointless? Let's find out. I feel like I'm going to be disappointed, but... Ah! It was a trap. Well, that's upsetting. I suppose that balances the scales, though. That gets rid of the 2 that I have because of using a bonfire aesthetic. So I guess that's fair. Giants fighting over there. Got a whole lot of nothing over there. Get rid of the fireball man before he gets a chance to really acknowledge me. Like that! Getting fireballed would have been real bad. I love walking around the corner into a ballista bolt. Why the fuck did you shoot me? There's a giant right there. I at least am human-ish. You fucking shot me instead. Rude. Knock it off with that. Maybe they know that I don't belong in this part of the timeline. Maybe they're just trying to correct the course of history by getting rid of the anomaly. So the giant fell down there. But he seems to have fallen further, I'm assuming? Can't take this and then enemy ahead. Okay. Soul of a Brave Warrior. There's another drop-off point. I think this is the better drop. Okay, there's just been a whole thing happening down here. We'll go ahead and just put you down after you've caused a whole issue. You stop that. I'm about to get kicked out, which is really bad. Because if the mist is thinned, I'm running out of time to find the corpse I'm looking for. That's what I'm assuming I'm here to do, is find another corpse, considering that's been the other two tasks. Damn it. Well, we're gonna have to go back in again. I think you end up losing time faster when you take damage in there is the problem. You'll also notice we didn't get our Estus back, which is nasty business. Don't get your Estus back, you don't get your durability back, it's just a bad scene all around. Of course, now that I know where to go, I could just run back to the bonfire and come back here. But now... Also, now that I know where I'm going in here, I can also kind of scoot and probably make it work. That was what we found by going up. Okay, going down just brings us right into this mess. Okay. Well, considering we cleaned up everything up there already, we may as well just scoot through this whole situation. Hello, gentlemen. Goodbye, gentlemen. You have fun doing what you're doing. Oh, literally the soul of the giant was right there. Okay, that's 3 souls of giants. That went shockingly better when I just didn't fuck about. Huh. You know, I wonder if the one with the giant lord, you probably could have just grabbed the soul and left without fighting the giant lord in hindsight. Just let Drummond distract him, grab the soul, and leave. Oh, never did grab this, apparently. Drangleic sword and Drangleic gear. Neat. That also probably would have been somewhat useful long ago. Oh well. Let's have a look at it, I guess. Oh, no, it's a great sword, so that wouldn't... Oh, that's Drummond's stuff, so that might have only appeared after what we did, then. That may have been like a, hey, you let him fulfill his thing. He left his stuff here for you. Not a sword I would use, but... we can bear it with respect, I suppose. The Drangleic armor is somewhere. Oh, there we go. I mean, that's not half bad looking armor, if you just look at it visually. It's too damn heavy, though, for me. Like, not necessarily, oh, it's too heavy for me to make it work with my setup, but more, I don't want double-digit weight on my armor at all, if I can help it. Because it makes it too difficult for me to try to fit everything else I would want and not be above 50%. Okay, so we have 3 giant souls now. I'll be honest, I don't know what to do now. That was my big move, was getting those souls. I was kind of banking on something happening after I got those. What the fuck is happening? I keep hearing, like, clattering outside. What the fuck is going on? It is a bit windy, so maybe things are just getting knocked around, but... just really odd. When the ads hit it fully, I may go take another look around and make sure there's nothing weird going on. Maybe we go back up to the Ancient Dragon? Now that we've done the memories? Is the Ancient Dragon's where we got the heart from, so it would make a degree of sense to have that be our follow-up. Kind of unfortunate, because that means going all the way back up there again, but maybe that's the thing? I don't know, I'm feeling mildly rudderless right now, as in I just don't know what my next intended step is here. And I don't know if that's because I skipped a week, or if it's just not really a clarity of forward movement here. Maybe I don't think the Herald's gonna have anything useful to say. She just keeps saying seek things. But you know, maybe that'll be enlightening.
Bearer of the... until... over the hill and past the fort, where a man peered but whatever... Those who come to Drangleic seeking salvation, it happens
These
to
are all
all
dialogue we've seen before.
at the base of the tower, although he does offer sound advice. Perhaps he is a foreshadowing of your own future.
None of that was helpful. Considering there's no new dialogue there, I'm going to assume that that's not going to be anything for us. I think that's enough for a level, so I can get rid of that. No, not quite. I just want to clean up our soul value here. At least decently. So that I don't have to worry about losing anything. Though there's always the reality where I die after having run around long enough that it ends up being a bad situation anyway. Now the question becomes, what do I even put my damn stats in now? Could increase my adaptability further. Could raise my vitality further so I get more whip load, more vigor for more health. 30 endurance feels better than what I had before, so I think I'm fine with that. Yeah, considering we're kind of set with what we're wearing now, I don't think I have a reason to change my equip load any further. So I think I'll take the adaptability. Because we're also only getting like 25 hit points per level of vigor now, so I don't feel like that's worth it. When we have, you know, 1,500. Yeah, it just doesn't feel like it does much per point. Much like many other things don't really feel like they do anything per point. So it always ends up feeling just like a meh question to spend a single level no matter how you look at it. Let's go regret my life and go climb back up the Dragon Shrine to see if that's what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Well, no, it does actually make you use items faster as well, which is arguably the more useful one for me. But you only start seeing an appreciable difference with a fair amount of the points at once, so... That's kind of where the problem there lives. This was a very experimental game overall, so... They were trying things. They didn't all work, but they were trying things. And this is why I didn't really want to go back here. Because these things are still a bit of an issue, especially now that I don't have as much lightning damage, and thus don't kill these as easily. There we go. Of course, the sniper priest up there is a nuisance. You know what? Fuck it. Coming through. I don't know why I keep having that fixation with fighting things on the way. It's really just not worth my damn time. Yeah, see, I cracked those life gems much faster than I did in prior sessions, for example, because of the big swing of adaptability we had. Because we've gained a total of 9 points versus where we were before now. Let me in, let me in, let me in. Coming through. Was the ancient dragon up here, or was this the egg? That's a big question. Pretty sure the dragon was this way, because there was a whole tower I climbed that got me the egg. Do 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 do. And whoever told me that those guys don't aggro, full of shit, by the way. That may be a scholar change, perhaps. Yeah, there's the ancient dragon right there. Now, the question is, are they gonna follow me in here? Okay, you are following me in, so you'll need to... Oh, there's multiple of them following me in. I love getting YouTube comments that are full of shit. It's my favorite thing. Unless... I'm betting somebody will make the excuse of, oh no, they only don't aggro the first time. If you ever aggro them, they aggro you forever. Hee hee. What's up, big man? Yeah, it's about what I figured, is that this was going to be completely pointless to have come back up here. Which is why I just blitzed up here. Alright, so either I didn't do everything I need to do, or the dragon isn't the answer. Great, I love that for me. I love having no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. I must have lost a thread somewhere along the way. I'm willing to blame myself having skipped a week of this for the fact that I do not know what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Because usually there's paths in front of you for you to follow, even if you forget, even with this game. This time, not as much. There's not an obvious, hey, go this way because you didn't go this way yet, that scenario. Like, there are bonfires we haven't gone to, but I don't know if those are relevant. Like, this I'm pretty sure is Undead Purgatory, which we kind of poked our head into, but we didn't actually go in. I don't know what this is, and I do not know where... Well, I'm pretty sure I know where that bonfire down there is. Which we could try going and talking to the queen again. That might yield useful information. She's another likely candidate for somebody who will have any idea what to tell me to do. We didn't go to talk to her ever since the events that happened here, let alone anything else. And she's easy to reach. She's also gone. Great! Hi, Navlan. Guess we're doing this a fuck again. That said, her being gone is significant, I suspect. Okay, Navlan, where are you? There you are. What's up? Hate you. I just want you to know that. I very strongly dislike you. I wasn't going to be able to keep stun locking him, because I was going to be out of stamina at that point. You got so lucky. Die. Okay. Anyway, he really has become a non-issue. He's just a mild irritant at this point. Thanks to our upgrades. Okay, Queen's gone. What does that tell me? That tells me things here have changed. But does that help me at all? That's always a fun question now, isn't it? Does that mean anything? That's somebody still doing the fight in here. Then again, there is something here we can do, and we'll just get that done since I'm here. I'm pretty sure I know of a thing we can do. Maybe that'll shed some light on literally anything. Where is it? This. The key to the embedded. Because I'm betting that I understand what this is for. Because the logic makes sense. It's a little bit of a weird one, but this game operates on weird logic. So you kind of have to put your brain in the brain of the people who made this and try to make sense of it as best you can from there. So the ads are about to kick in, so I'll probably wait till after the ads are done to do what I'm about to do, just in case something interesting actually happens from it. Be kind of funny if it just did nothing, but that's part of the fun of letting it happen. Having the key section actually be where your hand is actually kind of clever. But consider lock, key, lock, key. And we'll figure that idea out the rest of the way once we are done with the ads. So I will see you all in 3 minutes when I go check on everything in the house to make sure nothing weird's happening and wait for the ads to end. Apparently today is just gonna be the day of weird noises that make no sense, because there have been 2 sounds like things fell that have now had no evidence associated with them. Nothing has moved, nothing has happened. I don't like living in Bizarro World. It's not fun. It's just confusing. But we'll be back from the ads here in just a moment. We will figure out more detail here in a second when we can actually do the thing. But I'm reasonably confident that my plan here is correct. Excellent. I'm just gonna wait till the timer officially says it and then do the proper thing, because there's this weird desync with Twitch ads I've noticed where not everybody goes into ad break at the same time, which is really annoying. There we go. Now that the manager says it's over, most people should be back now. Welcome back from the ads, everybody. You missed nothing aside from the rest of the elevator ride, which, let's be real, you weren't gonna enjoy that anyway. I'm thinking we use key to the embedded. So I guess I didn't even have to equip it, really. I wasn't sure if I was gonna use it or if I had to hit him with it. There we go. Key's gone. The lock is also gone. Let me get my weapon back. And let's see where this idea leads. Ring of the Dead. Okay. That didn't accomplish as much as I'd hoped. I have a suspicion I know who that was, or at least who they're connected to, based on the fact that they were dressed the same and did the same teleporting away thing. I'm pretty sure they are one of the people from the Shrine of Amana. Now, what does the Ring of the Dead do? Keep human appearance even when hollow. Great! I'm so glad. Oh. That makes it more likely that my theory is correct, with the singing happening as I'm going down the elevator. So, in order to follow that line of thought up, I think I know where I need to go then, at least. I don't know if I ever fully solved that situation up there. Let's pop over to the Shrine of Amana and see if my theory holds weight at all. Because maybe we'll get rewarded if there's a benefit to this or not. So I think they mentioned that they only had 2 others, and we've freed 2 of them. Because we found one that was out in one of the huts further out, and then we found, theoretically, the one that was in that cell, because I'm assuming that's what she is one of the set in here. So maybe that'll mean something, maybe it won't. I forgot about you. I remembered the guys in the water. I forgot that there was an early Drake Priest. Thanks for the gem, I guess. Just getting rid of these so there's no distraction while we're trying to figure that idea out. Because if there's suddenly multiple people in there, we know that we've done something. No, there's still only the one in here.
We hear a song in the distance. You rescued a Milfanito, who was taken from us. Take this. We, Milfanito, thank you.
Okay, I was right. Wasn't particularly worth it, but I was right. There might be something from the rest of them too, but if that's what I'm getting from that one, I don't know if I care to chase down the other ones. There's an item over here, though, apparently, that I didn't grab. Why are there so many bloodstains here? Did people try to blitz over here and get in trouble for it? Eh, just Twinkling Titanite. That's not that exciting. Not at this point. Well, we are once again in the unfortunate position of uncertainty. Thought I saw a glow of orange there for a second, so I was like, what am I looking at there? So I could chase these two places down, but again, I'm pretty confident that that doesn't matter. That may very well be Sinner's Rise, actually. And I just didn't get a bonfire in Sinner's Rise proper. That would actually make sense. Because that's the only thing connected to the Lost Bastille that I know of, and other than Belfry Luna, which we do have a marker for. So maybe everywhere is accounted for. Other than that, this one bonfire in Drangleic, one here in Amana, which I'm pretty sure the one here in Amana is literally just one I ended up skipping over by accident. There is another one in Doors of Pharos, but that's because I ran out of lockstones before I could actually properly get in there. And I'm pretty confident that Doors of Pharos doesn't matter, considering you can so easily get locked out of there because of not having enough lockstones. That feels like it'd be an optional area. I guess let's try to solve the mystery of this bonfire then, perhaps? Because maybe that's the piece I'm missing. It's either that or I might actually have to look up the answer here. Though there's another Aldia Keep bonfire apparently too. And Aldia's the one who keeps popping up and talking to me. So maybe we need to follow up with Aldia? But where in the keep would we even go to get to another bonfire? I feel like I went everywhere I could in there. Like, I'm not necessarily upset about not knowing where I'm supposed to go, but at the same time, I'm feeling like this isn't the point where I should have ended up getting lost, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm sitting here with all the pieces of the puzzle in my hands and just not sure how to put them together. Is we didn't solve the petrified egg. Obviously, these tokens are irrelevant. The seed has a function, so presumably that's not actually a thing I need to worry about. We didn't do anything with this crushed eye orb, but I'm betting that this is also just kind of an extra thing that I don't have to do. We have 3 souls of a giant, but we have no idea what to use them for. We have a fragrant branch of yore left over, so there may be something else I could do with that still. But I have a feeling that that's not forward progress relevant. I may have to just take a look and figure out what the next step is supposed to be. Because it's either that or I sit here and bounce all over creation looking for the answer as to what the souls of the giants are for. So I've clearly forgotten something. That's the only answer I can think of, is that I've forgotten something. So it would be just getting information that I had already. So I suppose un momento, for sake of speed here. Okay, that doesn't particularly help me. I was really hoping that that would be much more enlightening. Okay, there's apparently memories in places that I have not accounted for, so maybe that's the problem? Or are those the... That one's DLC, okay. And... that is also a different one, so I don't need to worry about that. Okay, I'm assuming I need this one, probably. This is probably the piece I'm missing. Which is going to be interesting. So, there may be consequences to my actions that we're now gonna have to deal with. Is based on the only other use of the Ashen Mist Heart that there is. We have to actually go deal with the fact that I have made Brightstone Cove worse. In that, I think we have to go beat the spider again because of the fact that I bonfire aesthetic this to grind and then didn't finish the job. Take note of the fact that there are fancy red spiders here now. That's fun. There was also a pair of new red phantoms in this area that I've already dealt with. Like, the path to the spider is basically easy meat for me at this point, because that's what I was using to grind. Just kept not quite managing to complete the mission against the spider itself was the problem. But based on where I see the listing saying where the only memory I haven't done is that isn't DLC, I'm pretty confident I have to go back into there. So bear with me as we take this journey again. Yeah, short of remembering that there was something in that room, which I don't see most people remembering, I don't know how somebody's gonna figure out that they're supposed to do this. Again, I'm not 100% sure if I even need to do this, but I'm just kind of assuming I do. Is it something to do with the last key item we got? So, we'll figure it out. Yeah, the spiders themselves aren't worth a ton, but there are a lot of them. So it's one of those, it kind of just adds up situations. Walking your way through here. Oh yeah, let's deal with this little bastard of lies and slander. Because remember, he exploded the last time we ran up to him, so we're just not going to deal with that. Basilisk, obviously. Didn't drop anything. We don't need to go in here. This room has nothing still. I assume that room does something at some point. It's just... I probably missed whatever it was, as I've missed so many things in this game. Which, that's the blessing and curse to the way these games are designed that I've mentioned before. Is, yes, it's neat for exploration and discovery, but it's also so incredibly easy to miss things unless you're going over every area with a fine-tooth comb. So you can very easily just end up missing pieces of things. Not necessarily pieces of information, just like pieces of areas, pieces of ideas. Back to the spider zombies. I'm playing it safe with these guys because since we're technically in New Game Plus here, because of me using the bonfire aesthetic, they hit a lot harder. And as you can see, I don't just two-shot them anymore, which is its own whole issue. I also didn't re-deal with the boss back in the previous bit before this. The clergy and everything. I could go kill them again if I really wanted more souls. But I'm not worried about that right now. I'm more worried about making progress at this point. Nope. No touchy. No free hugs. There we go. Like, you'll notice we've already gained a solid amount of souls just walking through this bit here. Because even if something's not worth over 1,000, if you can kill 10 or 20 of them in just a few minutes, it adds up. Let's not forget these two gentlemen up here. Let them come on down. I bought a chunk of these arrows with using them for this grind in mind, and then I didn't end up using as many as I thought. So considering how much we use this bow, it's kind of important to have lots of arrows. There's also all of these spiders that we need to not forget. You can tell that I've gotten used to doing this with how quickly I can just kind of flick the targeter down. Shoot the spider down, shoot the spider in the face. Shoot the spider down, shoot the spider in the face. Wash, rinse, repeat until room no longer has piles of spider in it. Now, you might be wondering, spiders are fairly fragile. Why are you worrying about shooting so many of them down? Oh, you'll be reminded in a moment if you don't understand the problem. Okay, that's all the spiders accounted for. Let's get their friend in the back here. You may have gotten a hint as to the problem with what I just did there. If we walk out here, you'll notice all these spiders start waking up too. If I walked out here without having dealt with the ceiling spiders in this room, we'd have to deal with both sets of spiders at once. And it would end in tears with the increased strength they have from my poor life choices. As demonstrated by the amount of damage that one did. Thankfully, by the power of increased reach, we really don't have a major problem there. But again, this is another big payout of souls. This is why I was grinding in this segment, because, like, in this room in particular, you get, like, 10,000 pretty easy. As long as you're willing to spend some arrows. Not climb up. Grab the thing. Nope. Not the ladder. Thank you. I don't even really want it, I just didn't want to leave an item behind. Yeah, it's a whole process to get back. It's gonna take us a minute. And of course, since I had used a bonfire ascetic, their whole respawn count had gotten reset, so... I don't even know if the spiders can run out. I feel like there are some things that can't. And knowing my luck, the spiders would be one of the ones that never run out. Yeah, see the fog doors back? That is, again, because I used a bonfire ascetic for those who don't know how those work. It progresses the area to the next stage of restarting the game, essentially. So... that's a whole thing. Considering I've buffed the bow up a bunch since I was testing myself against this fight, we should be able to finish this time, because I have been, like, super close every time. Because usually our ally ends up dying at an inopportune time. I also wasn't using the ring that increased my health in the previous attempts, so that should also be a helpful factor. Probably pop a green blossom before I go in there, too. Didn't mean to fall down here, but hello, Mr. Spider. Perish, demon. I'm doing such a worse job of dealing with these spiders because I'm so much less patient. Because I'm trying to move this along, since y'all have seen me do this before. But, you know, it's fine. Step 1, get humanity back. Oh, am I human right now? I am human right now. Look at that. What time to be alive. I'm so used to not being human when I do this run back for obvious reasons. I was going to put a protection ring on so I don't lose the 30,000 souls I'm carrying. First, you need to die, apparently, because you want to be a pain in my butt. Anybody else want some? We out of spiders now. Yes? Good. That's a lie, by the way. His funny thing, there's a spider behind this pillar. He thinks he's clever. He'll try to jump you if you wait at the door for a second. Just gonna stop that hee ha ha before it happens. Okay, right. Change rings. Actually, am I concerned about that? Or am I just gonna let the 30,000 souls go if it goes wrong? You know what? Fuck it. Hawk Ring instead. This way we get full damage out of our bow, because I do tend to stand back for the redo of this. Because while my scythe does do more damage, my bow is a lot safer. Unfortunately, I can't actually make use of poison here, for obvious reasons. It's a spider. Poisoning a spider is kind of tricky. But poison arrows are so good against, like, the other 90% of targets, so that's why I have shitloads of poison arrows. You actually where you're supposed to be, Boyd? Okay, great. Actually, we want the scythe first, because there's another wrinkle to this fight, and that's... Frey just starts with a bunch of spiders immediately, which I don't recall being there before. They usually got summoned partway through the fight instead of starting the fight. But I baited the worst of the spiders off of Boyd straight away, so that should work out well. Yeah, because Boyd now goes in. I go around the back here and start shooting Freya in the back. Yeah, I'm making better headway now. I was doing like 50s when I was doing this before. I did forget to eat my green blossoms. Let's quickly do that, because it'll pay dividends in stamina. which should also, as you might imagine, pay dividends in fire rate. We just gotta watch out for the spider laser. If you don't know what I mean, don't worry, you'll find out. But I'm kind of surprised it hasn't happened yet. Usually it's happened by now. I think we've got them too confused this time, which is great. I'm very happy about that, if I'm honest. Yeah, those do less damage. I'll double check. No. Okay, that was going the other way. I can never tell with that move, considering Freya is double-ended like that. Void is almost dead, though, so we may have to deal with Freya's attention on being on us for the end of this, which is fine. This is literally what I was doing the entire time when I was trying to do this. I just usually made, like, a stupid mistake somewhere and got clocked. Or, as I mentioned, Freya actually uses the laser, which she's choosing not to do this time, and I'm eternally grateful for it. Our stamina boost is off, but that's okay. This is basically done. There we go. Victory achieved. Spiders, I think, stay, though? Yeah, they do stay. So let's deal with that problem. They do seem a tad confused, though. That soul payout, though, is definitely part of why I wanted to do it to begin with, but based on what I saw, this is what we were coming back here for. This bit of rock here, for some reason, is relevant. I didn't look at why, I just saw that this is where I needed to be to activate the last use of the action in Mist Heart. So let's see what this does for us. Oh wait, I can see the skull above it now. That might be the thing. What is this? Crystallized spit of some kind? I don't know why your memory would be in your spit. Oh. Welcome to Black and White Dragon memory. Fun fact, dragons do actually remember things in black and white. Do note that this is a lie. Do not listen to that statement. Not really sure where we are, but there's dead dragons around, so that's not great. Well, that doesn't lead to a dead me, I suppose it's fine. Probably need to get to that broken wing over there, since it's a dragon's memory, and the giant's memory all meant getting to a giant corpse. Am I gonna be attacked? Seems worryingly quiet here. Oh yeah, looks an awful lot like the ancient dragon, actually. Which means, you know, probably just another ancient dragon. Hey, what do you know, ancient dragon soul? Anyway, that, I guess, was the whole reason to do that. Yeah, there's his body there, actually, if you look closer. So I guess that's meant to be your clue, is the dragon corpse hanging that I didn't notice, because turns out my focus in this room was usually on the big spider in the room. Really does seem obvious when you look at it closer, though. So I guess the big spider cocooned that up and was eating that for God knows how long then. Yeah, then there's the Duke in here who didn't matter. I guess we'll kill him again because we can get his reward again. There's another fragrant branch of yore might be useful. Though, isn't this where I ended up fighting the Vangarl? Yeah, it is. Do I want to deal with that again, too? I mean, just in case it goes sideways, why not? I'll just go ahead and put my life protection ring on for fun. What's up, buddy? Guess what? We're doing this dance again. Differently this time, though. differently in that you might win, and I'm not happy about that, actually. It's a good thing you don't have a head. You seem to get real confused sometimes because of that. I don't know how his first attack didn't hit me. Was waiting for him to commit to attacking again so I could heal. There we go. Hey, we got a second set of the armor that I'm wearing half of. Anyway, let's get out of here. Now, having gotten paid a bunch, maybe now things will happen? Is I've got the dragon soul as well?
Bearer of the... until...
Maybe now I go back to the ancient dragon, it'll have something for me. Maybe I had the right idea, but the missing piece. Now we have 25 adaptability instead of 20. I should have changed up my ring. Because the soul protection ring really doesn't matter for 8,000. It's just gonna be an extra expense when it breaks. I disagree. Yep, I shouldn't have tried that. But I thought I'd have iframes. Seems when I'm opening a door, turns out I don't. I lived on like 1 hit point though, which is... yeah. Kind of figured that was gonna happen, but I didn't have a choice. If I stayed up there, I was dead. If I came down here, I was probably getting sniped. I hate being right about the fact that I wasted 3,000 on that ring breaking. Go ahead and take that off. For this situation that we're trying to deal with here, I admittedly don't really have anything that would be useful. I guess the extra physical defense for running through here. Because again, I'm not really gonna try to fight them. I don't know why it went so much worse that time. I think I might have beelined too hard for the door, perhaps? Like I just had a worse lineup that time? Because I think I did circle around them the first time, and that time I just beelined straight for it. Oh, you blocked me in, you son of a bitch. Door, please. Gotta go. I'm gonna credit my adaptability for dodging that. I'm pretty sure the extra iframes kicked in there. Oh, come on! How did I get clipped there that time? This is why I disagree with the, oh, it's so much better if you just run past everything. Because you end up with situations like this, where you just happen to misstep once and you've now wasted your time that way too. Like, there just isn't a good way to handle these situations that don't end in at least some fuckery. Like, that's just an unavoidable fact of these games, is there's going to be fuckery. Especially if you're like me and don't have a build that can just shred these guys. Like, if I could just kill these efficiently and quickly and be done with it, it'd be over already. We would be up at the Ancient Dragon again and we wouldn't have anything to think about. How did that make contact? That sword definitely did not physically hit me. cripes, I'm just getting shafted here. Run, please. I'm telling you to run. Thank you. Now you go away. You fucking shoot. Piss off. Find something else to do with your lives. Anyway. Are you gonna do something now? No, this was still a waste of my time. Good. Good, I'm glad. I'm so overjoyed that this was still a waste of my time. I'm sure I could fight that thing too. I have no reason to do that. I have been given zero indication that that is a thing I should do. So I am not going to give myself needless headaches by fighting an unnecessary fight. What the fuck do I do now then? Really thought that was going to be the answer. Ugh. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just stupid today. And I'm just, like, missing the clear indicator here. Alright. Do it this way. Oro, Jake, Bamar. Yeah, maybe that memory wasn't necessary at all. That's great and all, but for this being a guide, you would think they would tell you how to get to this place. Like, I know what area that's in, but where in the area is it? I mean, I guess I could just go there and figure it out, now that I know where it wants me to be. Yeah, I'll just figure it out. That's the only piece I needed. So, funny story. We are in position to finish the game. Apparently, at least according to the walkthrough I just looked at to verify things, I've done everything I need to just go end the game. So, provided I can succeed in doing so, we're gonna go ahead and do it. Because that'll clear this off my books, open the way for doing Dark Souls 3, and just generally make things a little bit easier for me. I've enjoyed our ride through this, but it will be nice to be done with it. I am very concerned about the finale here. I did not look at what it is, but I have heard tales of this finale long before this. And the fact that it is, not easy. Yeah, throne over there is still empty. Now, there must be a place in here somewhere that I have not been. Because I know it's here in the castle that we need to be. That's the piece of information I let myself have, is that the final thing is here. I just have to figure out how to get to the final thing. And I may be better served going from the lower bonfire, actually. Because the path I'm taking will take me to that lower bonfire anyway. And I feel like that's much more the linchpin to other parts of this place as it stands. Or do I want to go to... Let's actually check in at under the castle, because we didn't have anything we could do down here before. We just kind of ended up down here, nothing happened, and we left. Maybe down here's the thing. But the fact that the bonfire I'm missing is above, is like next to this, between the beginning one and this one, I feel like that's not correct, but I'm wondering... No, this probably is, like... I think I was right the first time when I thought this was DLC. But I wanted to look, see if it's something that, like, activated here at the end or something. Alright, back to King's Gate. We'll walk around from here and see if I can find my way to where I'm meant to be now. So let's just take stock. I went through this door, right? Or did I never go through this door? Because if I never went through this door, that might be funny. I feel like this is how we got to the shrine and everything, though. I want to say this is literally the first thing I did after we got the ring, was I went this way. Oh, maybe not, because you're here.
My journey is already complete. My name is Shanalot. The dragon gave me this name, for I was born with none. I was born of dragons, contrived by men.
Huh.
By ones who would cozen fate herself. They are the ones who created me. But they failed. I did not come out as intended. Fate would not be bested, and men were cursed once again. If you proceed, Nashandra will come after you, knowing that you will take the throne and link the fire. She covets the first flame and the great soul. Put Nashandra to rest.
That's a big ask, killing the queen. But I guess that means Nashandra is actually kind of the source of all of the problems, in a way? Because if you think about it, the fight with the giants happened because of the queen. Based on how we were told things before. And if she covets the first flame... then that would be why she was with Vendrick, at least partially, possibly. I may be pulling strings together that are not actually all connected here. But it's something to think about. And it may also be that that happened after they met. Really depends on how all of that actually played out, which we may never know. Though perhaps we'll be enlightened a bit as we deal with the situation. Oh! You have some final guards left, huh? That's a problem. That's a problem. Okay, you don't have tons of health, or at least the Watcher doesn't. Let's start with that, then. Ow, that hurts. Full flips, bro. The defender kind of looks like Vendrick a little bit. Okay, 2 hits and we're dead from that. Okay, very good. I was playing it slow and careful with the bow to kind of get a feel for what they do. The answer, what they do, is beat the shit out of me. Understood. I tell you what, we are going to retreat and regroup for a moment. Because if we're going into the final phase, then there's no point in doing one specific thing I've been currently doing. And that is holding on to any of these consumable souls. So let us drink greedily of the cup before us and see what that brings to the table for us, whether we gain anything of merit from this entire collection here. If I wasn't going to make myself as strong as possible now, when would I? We will take every hardship we've endured, every problem we've solved, consume everything. Bring it all to be E1 with us now. Accept every failure, accept all the pain. Let it all be one. We have 2 copies of this one. Go ahead and munch down both of those. Really been hanging on to a lot of boss souls, so we've got a lot to chew through here. A lot of power I left on the table this entire time. Just gonna go ahead and just jam all that in. Ancient Dragon Soul, Giant Lord Soul, Old Pale Drake Soul, which I think we got from the spider as well. We just gained 410,000 souls there. That's how many I've been just hanging on to this entire time.
Until...
That's how much I've just been kind of sitting on. So how about we just gain 10 strength? Just a casual 10 strength to make our bow hit harder. And maybe another 3 dexterity, E as well. How's that sound? Yeah, 95 sounds a bit better than what we had there before. Scythe obviously got a little bit stronger, but I don't know how useful that Scythe's gonna be, at least until we're down to a one-on-one in that confrontation. I also should have traded off the King's Ring before walking into that battle. But I was half expecting there to be dialogue before immediate murder occurred. But what do I know, right? I don't know what I'm getting into. That's the blessing and curse of not peeking too far ahead. And when you do peek to figure out what you're supposed to be doing, is that you get surprises like that still. After all, it wouldn't be very fun if I had known that was happening. Now, there's one kicker to that. I knew that this was a multi-step process. I knew there wasn't just one fight to this. Before anybody's like, you didn't seem that surprised, though. Because I'm not. I did know that there was going to be multiple opponents by the end of this. I did not know it was going to be a duo fight. I thought it was a fight, and then a fight. Because I remembered there being essentially 3 bosses to the end of the game. But, surprise! Teamwork makes the dream work for them and ruins all of my hopes and dreams. But we'll make it happen. I suspect this is going to take a fair few tries, so I don't anticipate this ending up being too short a stream. But we may very well end up being shorter than I expected today to be, which is not necessarily the worst thing. So I do have other things I'd like to get about today, so it's not horrendous. We obviously won't be starting Dark Souls 3 today, no matter how quickly we get this done. If I had known that this would have ended up potentially being short, I might have actually prepared some of the Lurkit stuff that we'll end up covering tomorrow as a bonus. And then I wouldn't have to do a bonus stream, but, I wasn't prepared for this situation. So who knows? Maybe I will do 2 streams today, perhaps, depending on how today ends up going. Trio ahead. Well, that would have been a good warning to read beforehand. Also, what might be a good idea? Jam a humanity in us and see if... Yep, we have help. We have a lot of help, actually. The head of Vengarl? And Benhard of Yugo. That'll make this a much more fair fight. Admittedly, taking one of them would have made it an actually fair fight. But, well, how often have I been interested in fair fights? Sup, kids? I brought backup this time. Just gonna wait till my backup dancers get here and then we'll start the party. The problem is they're not interested in my friends at all. They're very committed to me still. There we go, now they're getting distracted. I'm fine with doing a one-on-one with the Watcher. Oh, nope, the Watcher has retargeted now. Immediately, as soon as I pull out a melee weapon, they're like, wait, nope, that's not an archer. I'm not gonna fight that anymore, nope. Head of Vengarl is getting demolished, because they're just kind of hanging out half the time, it seems. So that's less effective than I would like it to be, but it at least buys me some time to do anything here. Benhard's still in good shape, so maybe he'll keep them busy for a while still. I'm hoping to actually get poison on them. Though I've largely been unsuccessful so far because it's kind of hard to keep landing hits on them when they're doing flips and shit. Oh, Defender wants me now. That's fine. Splitting our dance partner. Oh, nope. Now they both want me. That's actually a big problem, because I had no stamina at the time they decided they wanted me. Oh, you have magic too. Well, that's awful. Benhard, if you could actually do something productive, that'd be great, buddy. Drawing the aggro with a defender, that counts as positive. That's timing. Hey, there's Ari. Thank you for the raid. What were you up to today? You're just in time for me to beat in the second to last fight here of Dark Souls 2. But hopefully you're having a grand time today, and of course if you need to raid and run, please make sure to do so. Taking care of yourself should always be your first priority. Oh, you immediately retargeted again. And now it's just me and the 2 bosses. Well, this is a problem. Well, yeah, I can imagine. It's a duo fight at the end of the game. Nobody should be happy about that. Just keep dodging and poking until it's one-on-one. Once it's one-on-one, we'll be okay. Yeah, what were you playing, Zeri? Let me know. I can still keep a good enough eye on that while I'm dealing with these 2. There we go. Watch her down. Ooh, nice. Good mix, good mix. Nice bit of calm before the storm. I need to save some of my Estus because I don't know if we're going right into the next fight. I'm willing to bet we are, knowing the way these games work. That'd be just my luck. If you want to just dance for a second, I'll go ahead and... Oh, you're gonna revive them, aren't you? Stop that. No. Bad. Not allowed. Oh, and they get their whole health bar back. That is garbage. I don't know what fool thought that was okay, that they could do that. Especially pairing you with a pair of phantoms that did fuck all for this fight. This is a problem. This went from I might be doing this first try to I don't think this is happening. Yeah, combustion didn't reach. I don't know why I thought it would. This means I can't whittle them down to just one, is they ignore damage. Well, they take damage, but they don't get staggered out of the revive. Okay, lightning's gone from their weapon. I'm just being realistic. I'm already halfway through my Estus, and I have a whole health bar to chew through again. While constantly dodging the defender now, basically. Because that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to kill the Watcher again, if possible, and then finish off the defender. So I'm pretty sure I can do enough damage to him to kill him while he tries to go for the revive if he does it again. Because I should be able to get some hits on him before he goes for the revive. That's the only strategy I see working for me in this situation. It's just a matter of whether I can make it happen. Because at least their pattern isn't too bad, for the most part. My big concern is, like I was saying, getting drained down. We are going to get hit with ads before this fight ends, unfortunately, because this is taking longer than I thought it would. I figured an attempt was going to end before the ads hit. So I apologize for those that are going to miss part of the fight. This fight just takes forever, apparently. But with how I got bodied the first time, I expected it to be over quickly. I appreciate that. Just gonna have to play it slow and calm. On that note, give myself what advantages I have. Here, catch. Really didn't expect that to do anything. That was more just a spite move at that point. I timed using that really wrong. Is this really gonna fall apart right here as soon as the ads kicked in? Is that really how this is gonna play out? Of course that reached. Yeah, the problem is we are genuinely SOL if we do have to do another fight after this. And of course, because this fight's taking forever and a day, I'm starting to get sloppy because I'm like, I want out of this fight. I'm done here. This is very much a case of, I feel like this fight should have been over already if they didn't have a stupid fucking revive mechanic. And I fell off the edge. Great. Great, I'm so glad that that's how this fucking ended. Why does this game always have to vex me in the strongest ways it can find? I swear. It's not even that it makes you impatient, it wastes your time. I feel like them being able to revive like that is an active disrespect to the player's time. That is 110% a new player trap. That isn't, I can't say that as being anything else. Because the only way somebody would get caught by that is if they didn't know that that was gonna happen. I wouldn't say that as a blanket statement. That's unfair to go that far. The boss fights are designed to waste your time. The actual world and everything is good. The boss fights are where I take most of my issue. Personally. Of course, you know, as usual, to each their own. Okay. I felt that was a necessary clarification. Just throw those firebombs away, they're not gonna help. Use the old radiants, because those are gonna matter. I'm so fucking mad right now about having fallen and having that be the way that fight ended. It's so much work just to slip off the fucking edge, because of course they have to have a place for you to fall off of. Of course they fucking did. There's my hawk ring. We'll try that instead this time. See if I can get more leverage out of using the bow. Because I think I was just too far back is part of why my bow was doing nothing. Since the bow has a lot of power behind it at this point. Welcome back from the ads, everybody. As you can see by the fact that I'm walking back down, we lost. And as you might be able to tell by my tone, I am very annoyed about how we lost. Because if you miss them reviving their companion, turns out they can bring each other back to life. And in the 1,000 rolls of dodging around them, I fell off the edge because, God forbid, they have it be in an arena that you can't just fall off of. Would have helped a lot if our two phantoms did anything during that encounter as well. They just kind of stood there and stared at them and had a dance off. But I'm gonna bring them in again in the hopes that maybe their AI actually works this time, or they at the very least distract them longer this time. Either or would be good. I will definitely just take what I can get, and what I'm gonna do is focus on actually weakening both this time where possible instead of trying to go for a kill. And we should have it this time, now that I know the shenanigans involved here. I don't particularly care about my souls. There really wasn't much of any to be had there. Yep, I figured you were gonna immediately punish me for trying to eat my stamina increaser. Doing a great job again, guys. Doing God's work. Yeah, that one just went to shit because for some reason they just had no interest in anybody but me that time. Don't really know why they had such a focus there. Aside from probably the fact that those two didn't even swing during all of that. Kind of figured they would, so I banked on them doing something. My mistake, forgetting that they are basically the worst. Like, I think the only thing that Vengarl Head did during that fight was catch an arrow for my enemy. Which doesn't help anything, really. Good thing I have a lot of arrows. Else I might have to go buy more. So I'm gonna eat the stamina booster before going in this time. I only ate one during the fight because I forgot to do it beforehand. I'm too busy being irritated. And you might be like, well, why don't you try a different strategy? What pray tell other strategies would I have at my disposal at this point? I don't have a different bow to switch to, so that's not really a thing I can do. I could try mixing it up in melee with them, but that is realistically significantly more dangerous. And still relies on my companions functioning at all? Going for the pyromancies will have a similar position overall to the bow, really. Except I'll have to be closer. It may actually be worth wearing the Ring of Restoration, though, because that'll fulfill the same role as the small gems. And yeah, I wasn't actively asking for suggestions there. That's just me explaining before anybody decides, oh, I have a great idea. It's like, here's the situation as it stands. Because I gave up on having faith abilities, we don't really have magic to fall back on anymore. And I could use a a stat reset to go back to that if I really wanted to, but I don't anticipate that being more beneficial in this situation. Okay, now they're actually fighting. They're getting dumpstered because they're focusing on one of them, and now I'm getting focused by both of them again. This is the situation I was expecting, is the second I try to get involved, they both immediately turn on me. Leading to, at best, a slow fucking tip-tap. I'll be honest, it's kind of hard to notice the music during these situations, but yes. Like, usually I have to hit a state of such focus to have a prayer in these nastier situations that I don't notice literally anything other than what the thing in front of me is doing. Like, my focus hits that layer in order to do anything here. Because there is otherwise just too much to try to keep track of. Okay, we're in a better overall position before those two went down this time. Key to that being it's an overall position. It'd be very funny if the Watchers fell off there. Because there'd be no reviving that. I forgot about the third swing there. I'm glad I raised my adaptability, so at least I have iframes for this. I'm assuming they both can revive each other as well. It's not like one can revive and the other cannot. That was really greedy on my part, but it's okay. I'll get punished for this, but I should come out of that with more. Yep, that worked out. Till it didn't, but you know. Remember, I need to keep some healing for potential follow-up fights. So at this rate, I need more. Every time I'm just off sync for the timing. But yeah, we have the classic problem of I have to burn so much stamina just staying away from the two people attacking me that I can't get a fucking word in. Now just imagine if I still had the stamina I had last session, where I would have 30 less than this, and how bad a situation this would be at that point. You fucking bitch. You just had to be a coward right when your friend was using his magic. The perfect time to punish you. Yup. I hate the input buffering these games do so badly. I didn't intend that second heavy swing to happen, but my finger twitched as I was pulling my finger back from triggering the first one, so it read it as a second input and kept it. So we got shafted again. Okay. I think we might actually just not use the bow for this fight. It just doesn't do enough to them. Ring of Restoration was not the choice. That doesn't help. The extra defense really didn't matter. I almost feel like none of these rings fucking matter for this situation. none of these rings do anything that helps me. Red Tearstone might be my best shot just to make a Hail Mary happen. Like if I'm at low health when they try to go for the revive or something, just leverage the damage boost. These doors, I get that they're meant to be this big, impressive thing, but really they just get annoying to have to wait for every time. I feel like they should stay open after you open them the first time. Because as I've talked about before with the concept of suspense and things like that, as far as situations like these go, the first time suspense works. When you have to do a run back, anything that's meant to add to suspense or anything like that goes out the window and should not recur every time, because all that does is turn into a waste of the player's time. All of your ambiance and such kinda starts to lose meaning the 10th time I walk past it. I also have a concern that these guys might be resistant to electricity. So, how about we throw them a change up here as well? And we go back to the good old Dark Varangian sword for this. And actually use our shield. Let's bring the shield back. Because that's the only other change of strategy I've got in my pocket. No, they're more likely to die of old age, which I don't think they can do either. Yeah, considering they both seem to enchant their weapons with lightning, using lightning against them may not be effective. The big problem I'm gonna have from the choice I've now made is I've massively decreased my reach. No, that damage output is similar. So I don't think they're particularly strong or weak against either, then. And I instead don't have the advantage of being able to poke as effectively. Oh, I could sneak around that attack, though. I do have greater stamina usage with this weapon, though. So I do have that advantage. I just gotta watch out for situations like that where I get immediately collateral damaged. Oh, of course! Once again, you just immediately lose interest in the people you're fighting to come fuck me up again. Like, do they have a hard code to attack the player instead of any phantoms? Is that just a thing, or is it because somebody attacked the other one and they're meant to team up? I could accept the second one. The first one would be fucked up. Can't see his health bar because your stupid death message is on the screen. Once again, you immediately retarget. Like, these two are not that bad at face value. It's just the fact that it's two at once again that makes this nasty. And again, the revive mechanic. Gotta be careful that I don't break my sword here. Okay, got away with that. His lightning's gone, which is good. Your shield almost looks like the Pharos Lockstone thing. Yep. I fucking knew at one point I was gonna make one misinput. And this is what I hate about the end game of a lot of these Souls-likes, is because that's what it boils down to. One missed input. You could spend a half an hour in a fight, and all it takes is that one missed input. I am not a man of do the fight perfectly, but that's what these force you to do. You almost don't have a choice but to be perfect. All it takes is one slip. The increased stamina from using the sword was a good idea. But I think all the times I got clipped trying to get in to do the damage was a problem. I think we can still use my shield with my scythe. I can just use the scythe one-handed. The shield was good, because obviously 90% of their damage is physical, outside of their enchanted attacks. So I do think going back to the Ring of Steel protection might be the call here. I already have the highest physical defense I can get without sitting there and grinding to make a different piece of armor plus 10. So that's as good as that's gonna get. And maybe once I had the two of them in front of me, maybe I should have tried mixing the bow back in again. To like pepper down the one that was almost dead. But the risk there would have been, again, similar case of one missed input, and hey, you're having to do everything again. Hope you enjoy walking down this long hallway, just to get back to the fight you were just doing. And I know this is being very negative, and it's a long string of negativity, but I don't have anything else to talk about in this situation. Like, I'm not the kind of yapper that can just start making other shit up in this situation, because too much of my focus is on trying to sort this stupid situation out, so that we don't spend the next hour here. And I'm obviously not gonna be happy and enjoying myself when I'm getting my shit pushed in. So, this is how we end up with these situations. But I always feel kind of bad because, like, I'm being real salty at the moment. I know that it comes with the territory, but I don't like being that. At least Team Clown Shoes is actually doing something sometimes now. I understand that, but unfortunately that doesn't make the feel bad go away. Because for everybody that says it's fair, there could easily be people out there that are very tired of hearing it. And obviously they can leave if they really want to. But I would rather not put people in a situation where they would have to leave because of how the situation has gotten to. Okay, Throne Watcher's almost dead. Problem is, the Defender's being a bitch. Like, there's only so much I can orchestrate this fight when one of them backs himself against the wall and actually does the smart thing. I don't know how he didn't hit me there. Like, that's one of those rare cases of by rights I should have gotten hit. And I will freely acknowledge that. How are you so light on your feet with all that heavy armor? Tell me your secrets. God, I hate when my own attacks end up having the same situation of, like, oh, hey, you just kind of missed for some reason. Yep, I'm getting fucking tennised between them now. Ugh. His health's low enough, I should just go for the kill on the Watcher at this point. Except they fucking did a weird wander and just kind of sidestepped all those attacks, apparently. Just die, please. Thank you. If you could get aggro on him, that'd be great. His sword lost power, that's great. Fucking die! And here's the other problem. People get a real rush when they win these. I've talked about this before. I don't get that rush. I'm just happy to not have to do that anymore. That's about all I get out of that. Is hooray, I don't have to keep doing that. Because more often than not, well, I'll finish that thought after she talks.
Proven yourself to me.
Hi, Timo Nito. How you doing? That's Nashandra, I would presume. The final battle of Dark Souls 2. Fresh off of a duo fight.
Be one with the dark.
Yep, and I'm about to get screwed. Pretty safe to say. So I don't know what I'm getting into here. How you doing, Charlotte? Don't fall off the edge at the beginning of this. Oh, and you just curse me by being around, huh? That's fun. That's a good mechanic. Oh, wait. No, it isn't. Like, it makes sense, but the fact that I'm gonna be constantly losing max health and constantly taking damage here is kind of shit. Yeah, but look at what's happening to my health bar. I have to be faster than this or I'm just gonna lose. That's the problem. Okay, she's not doing that anymore. Or at least, so there's that. Oh, and they're back now. Okay, great. Yeah, and I just lose. I was considering just putting a protection ring on so I could keep the 50,000. Thought about it more, it doesn't fucking matter. But yeah, to finish the thought that got interrupted by that cutscene, the only thing I usually feel after a long, drawn-out fight like that is, like I was saying, I just feel relief. I don't get the adrenaline high from it. Which is why these things aren't really for me, for the most part. I just feel the same, just, as most people have after a long day's work. Because that's what these fights feel like after a point, is they feel like work. And I don't get anything positive out of that. But that's a personality difference. That is not like a demonizing of the game design or a this is bad because this. It's just, it works differently for different people. Where I thrive is the exploration and piecing together the way everything works and working around the different problems I run into along the way. I do not thrive in these boss fights. These boss fights are generally just a negative for me. And I do not say that to bring the energy down or be negative in general, that's just the reality of it. Now, I do still have the Throne Watcher and Throne Defender souls, as I presume. So I hope that means I don't have to fight them again. Because if I just have to fight Nashandra, that's fine. And actually, smarter thing than the Ring of Steel protection at that point then. Where is that other ring? I have a specific ring, I think, for this situation. Do I not? I thought I had one for this specific situation. I mean, the dark protection one would be good, but I'm looking for a different one. Do I not have that? I apparently do not have that. I thought I had a curse bite ring. Maybe I saw it in a shop and I didn't buy it. Maybe that's the problem. But reducing dark damage will still be a good idea. That'll protect against the other things she does. And based on how she was taking damage, I do think I can win this relatively reasonably. It's just gonna be a matter of I'm probably gonna have to rush this. If I take my time, I lose. But I can bring Dumb and Dumber along for the ride again, and maybe they'll do more damage for this phase, haha. Well, we just went through a duo fight before that, so I'm kind of banking on that technically being Form 1. But she may have a phase change in the middle of the health bar. That's the thing I'm afraid of, is there being a phase change. Okay, yeah, she's just hanging out here in the middle of the room now. You have a different response now that...
Grave undead. You have proven yourself.
Nah, it seems like she's just saying the same thing again.
Now, be one with the dark.
And of course, your fixation with dark is why you don't want the fire to be linked, because the fire chases away the dark. Considering my damage output rate versus my rate of getting cursed here, I have concerns. Like, my only other play would be to stay away from her until these things fade away. But I don't know if I can do that for long enough. Like, I don't know if this arena is even big enough to try that. Oh, and you just have an explode move, because why don't you? What? There's gotta be a trick to this. There's no world in which there isn't one, because otherwise this is just hot garbage. Because if you're just constantly getting cursed, there has to be something else. There has to be a way around that problem. Like, I could eat the dark trotches, but that's not gonna solve that problem. These only cure poison. You know what? You know what? That's an idea. Divine Blessing says it cures all status effects. Does it work on Curse? If it works on Curse, we're in business. I have one other idea up my sleeve, and I just need to find out if it'll work. If it doesn't, we're in trouble. Because unfortunately, the capital letter dark is not usually as affected by just simple light in the same way. Flame and dark have been counterpoints to each other throughout this, so there's a world in which there's a stupid answer. And it'd be very funny if it worked. But I'm gonna try the stupid answer after I try the simple strategy I was talking about of staying back. To at the very least reduce my curse buildup, instead of just getting cursed to hell and gone straight away. Because the most dangerous thing we've seen her do at range is that hand beam. So if I stay away from that, I'm fine. The trick is going to be staying far enough away from her to just not just die to curse anyway and do significantly less damage. But in a fucked up kind of way, I'd rather deal with this than keep dealing with that duo fight. Is at least I can approach this more like a puzzle to figure out instead of a pure execution challenge. Is that duo fight basically came down to just pure execution. I just had to do the thing and do it better in order to win that fight. Okay, I can outrange the curse buildup, it seems. With how wide out those were, I thought they would reach me everywhere. So this might just be the simple solution, is just shoot Nassandra to death. And I can't say I feel bad about solving it this way, considering the design. It seems like the curse is not a radius around the things floating around her, it's like a bubble around her within them. Like they make like a triangle around her, essentially, that is just a curse zone. So if I don't go in the curse zone, I'm mostly fine. Okay, barrier's down, go in for damage now. Barrier's going back up, back off. You goes down, so now she's actually going to acknowledge my existence. And here's where we start having problems, because she's going to actively pursue me and bring the curse to me. Oh, and they maneuver independent of her. They're following me now. So that strategy doesn't work anymore. That was a pure phase 1 strategy, I guess, then. Thankfully, with how much health she has left, I should be able to just pressure her through now. Drink the Divine Blessing. Of course she lasered me while I was drinking that, and Divine Blessing takes 1,000 hours to drink, apparently. Based on the fact that the health bar reduction didn't change, though, I think Divine Blessing doesn't help here. So I suppose an easy test would be I just test it here. Yeah, no, it didn't do anything. It may be that curse and hollowing are separate, but I'm willing to bet that that's not going to amount to anything. Attempt 3 should work out in our favor. I'm gonna do something, to pad out time a little bit, because we're only 2.5 hours in, so if I beat this game at that point and I don't have a follow-up, it's gonna feel real bad to have it be that short. But I'm also curious. Do these two Uthrone people have a weapon that I get from Strayed? Strayd's the only merchant I have for this kind of stuff, so he's the only one I'm going to check. But I'm curious.
So, if you speak up.
Yes, yes. Quiet you. Doesn't look like it. It's probably from the other merchant that I missed. Yeah, we could have gotten Repel, but it wouldn't have been a thing I'd use. Old Pale Drake gets you Crystal Soul Spear, which might very well be referencing the old Pale Drake being
Feeble cursed one.
Seath, then, possibly. Or at least one related to Seath. So that's a thing. But yeah, that amounted to no information, which is not overly a shock. So you know what? We're gonna make a point. I'm gonna eat their souls. Oh right, I touched the bonfire. And I got caught in the fucking menus because there's 17 menus nested in each other. Let's go over here instead to do this. Before the game decides to find more ways to aggravate me before I can at least do a funny thing. Besides, if I'm gonna spend them, I'd be here anyway. If Nassandra was not immediately launching into a fight, I would walk up in front of her and eat her 2 guards in front of her to make this point. Just shy of a level. And I already ate literally everything. That's a shame. Let's go grab a little bit to get that level. Is that one level will totally make a difference. Uh-huh. You know, there probably is a certain amount of comedy in that I will come to find out that Nassandra, like, has an incredible weakness to faith magic. So if I just stuck with the faith to the end, it would have actually made her fight like a joke or something. That would be very funny. Oh, speaking of very funny, hi. You're in here, huh? Good for you. Oh, and you're already chasing me. And I went the wrong fucking way. Go away. I just wanted to beat up those soldiers for a second to get enough money, which I didn't, is God forbid. I am curious about what's in that box, but not curious enough to fight a Ruined Sentinel again. I'm just done with dealing with those at this point. Is that enough? No, I'd be 50 short and I would be very upset. There we go. Not that this one level would make a difference, but because I don't want to throw away what I gained from doing the spite eating. So I'm betting all those boss souls disappear if you go to New Game Plus, so it's not like I could carry them over or anything.
Bearer until...
Because otherwise you could very heavily break things. There we go. Now we have nothing to lose. So at least that little gremlin in the back of my brain won't keep screeching at me. Now to get back on the treadmill to keep trying this fight over and over again. If you can really call this a fight. Now, there was a world in which I could have grabbed a different arrow type using that money as well, and I did think about that. I did consider that option. Problem is, I don't remember where I can buy any arrows that aren't just metal arrows. And I would rather get, like, fire arrows or something, but I genuinely don't remember who sells those in any real quantity. And I didn't feel like going and hopping around looking for them. I do feel like this is... And this is the other thing, is a lot of the time I feel like it's just, at least for me, it's almost a matter of luck, not judgment, that happens for these fights, too. I don't really know if there's anything to be gained, honestly. Even if I find out what she's weak to, for example, I can't really follow up on that in a meaningful way at this point. We're kind of locked into what we have. Again, short of changing arrow types, and that will only do so much. I would also have to go farm more souls in order to be able to buy more arrows, which is something I would I would like to avoid. I would like to be able to just be done with this. It's right there on screen, Nashandra. That's fine. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if she's immune to poison, which is the arrow type I'm using right now. Otherwise, you could just dot her to death, which would be hilarious, but being the final boss, it'd be kind of stupid if she was poisonable. Head of Vengarl's dead. Yeah, if I were a betting man, she would be either weak to lightning or fire. Fire being the logical choice because of what I was talking about before, where fire and dark tend to be counterpoints in the general theming. Okay, all my friends are dead. Stay away from that. It is funny to be fighting the final boss who uses a scythe with a scythe. I think we might be getting lucky here. I'm not gonna explain why, for fear of things going wrong with this idea. Nope, it's gonna stop working now. And somehow I just happen to be just close enough to the edge to be pushed off of it. Once again, proving that it's a dog shit idea for there to be a edge you can fall off of in your final boss arena. Pretty sure we should have left ideas like that behind back in the Super Nintendo era, where that was already proven to be a bad enough idea. But the thing I was saying we were getting lucky about is one of the three of her little orbital things disappeared. And she hadn't done anything about that till we were nearly done with the fight. So I was kind of banking on her just not ever realizing it was gone, so that I could have just had that safe space in front of her to keep attacking her. Unfortunately, I caught one bad scythe hit, so I backed up and got shoved off the edge of the damn map. So, hope everybody's enjoying me walking back over here for the I've lost count time, to do this for the I've lost count time, where things will somehow totally go differently. This is the other problem. You can claim for all the world that you have so many options in these games, but here's the problem. Most of these throwables, don't think they would do much of anything here. These resins are useless to me because I have an infusion on this side, so they don't work. They don't do anything. That nixes, like, basically the majority of the things that are in this inventory, for example. Just ignore those. They're all irrelevant. Changing to a different weapon kinda doesn't work because we don't have any upgrades on anything else that much. Like, I've worked on this hammer a bit, but it's the same damage types, basically, unless she's particularly weak to strike for some reason, which, being mostly skeletal, maybe she is, maybe she isn't. That's a possibility. My other main weapon that I've upgraded is this dark sword, which she is using dark. Why would she be weak to the things she's using? Possibly for irony reasons. Could still work. Possibly a thing. shits and giggles, we may as well try it. Like, short of having that curse bite ring that I somehow don't have, even though I swear I picked one up, we really don't have any other aces in the hole. We have no other party tricks. We've got nothing in the pocket to change this situation in a meaningful way. These are our two strongest weapons. So even if she had like a weakness to fire, my fire weapons are just weaker enough that I feel like it wouldn't matter. Like, she would have to like take double damage from fire or something for a element change to matter, I would say. Just to explain the logic of why I say it doesn't matter and why I feel like I don't have other options. Because otherwise, I would absolutely pursue other options. But short of grinding for alternative solutions, which I'm trying to avoid doing, because I feel like we're burning the time either way. So admittedly, the grinding may be more interesting, because at least me moving and doing something instead of just getting my shit pushed in. But with it being as close as it is, I feel like grinding shouldn't be necessary. We're in that awkward middle ground spot, as I frequently end up in. Yep, one down. I really should be putting my Hawk Ring on for this idea. This way I do more damage. Problem is, once she starts following me around with the squad, that plan stops working anyway. Really? That hit me, huh? She kind of like hit me with her hand, which I guess that counts. And yeah, she is resistant to dark. This sword is terrible against her. So yeah, the scythe is my only real play here then. Short of any manner of grind I was talking about. Now, consider, if you will, that if you were focusing on a dark weapon and you had gone for hexes, which do dark damage, you would be really in an awkward spot at this point. Because your primary method of doing combat would be rather significantly nerfed here. Now, obviously, a smart player, if they're using hexes, would have a weapon doing a different element, or one that's doing non-elemental damage across the board on hand to make sure that they're covered there. But just consider, if you will, the fool who does a one-trick setup and then ends up fighting the final boss, who is largely resistant to their only damage type. Would really suck. I say totally not having been in that very scenario at some point before. And this is an honest question from a viewer angle. Is that this is something I personally don't understand, and I'm wondering if people feel differently, because I presume they have to. Do you all still end up getting the rush of maybe this will happen each time someone goes in to do something like this, or do you reach the same kind of like it'll happen eventually that I do? I'm curious about that. Because more often than not, I'm only excited about it potentially happening the first time, and then I just kind of fall into a like it'll happen, and eventually. After the first one. Know what? I think the Tearstone ring might work. I've had a realization about that. Because I think the Tearstone ring might still count when our max health is lowered. Because I remember being told about a trick using an item like that, and the item that reduces your max health but gives you more spell slots to be a more powerful caster. So I'm thinking we might be able to take advantage of that when the time comes around to do the final full charge. Yeah, from the player side, I can see that. It's more like when you're watching somebody do it is what I'm asking about. Is how you handle something and how you handle watching somebody do it are two very different things. Okay. Usually they're different. That's why I was making sure there's a clarifier there. We got a much worse roll that time. And apparently... Okay, game. Yeah, sure. I just lose by default there. Sure, why not? There's a very real possibility I'm gonna run out of human effigies at this rate. Yeah, that makes a degree of sense. And it's not dissimilar to what I was talking about. I just always wonder if it's even enjoyable to watch, for example. That is, again, that falls into what I was talking about before about worrying people are getting tired of watching the same thing happen over and over again. Because it's kind of an unavoidable circumstance of it being a repetition. And like the only thing I could see being enjoyable in that scenario is people being excited about the possibility of it working out the next time. Okay. That's about the best thing I can do right now is try to understand everybody else's perspective in this situation. Because I know my perspective. Obviously, we all know our own perspective. But to understand how y'all approach these things and how you view them helps me, A, make these better for everyone, and B, worry less about situations like this. And I talk about this so often when I get stuck in these situations, but I'm gonna reiterate it in case people have missed me talk about this before. I genuinely worry the most about the experience for everybody watching because of the fact that it just becomes, like I said, this loop of you may as well just rewind the footage because it basically becomes the same thing again and again. So I start to feel bad the longer a situation like that loops for. Because it becomes a matter of like, well, I may as well just cut that if I ever do any editing. That entire segment may as well just be ripped out of the video. Because it's nothing. It provides context for how we got to the eventual success, but there's a balance point between those two where you can have too much context, for lack of a better way of putting it. I feel like it puts streamers and such in a particularly awkward scenario there. And obviously, to a certain degree, it's a mindset thing, because obviously a streamer with a different mindset could probably keep the energy higher longer to make the situation still much more entertaining for people. And yeah, you are completely right that I get in my own head, and I cannot help but do that. Which is why I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, how do we make this situation better then? Because that's the only play I have for that, is to try to figure out a way to make the situation better in what ways I can. Okay, going for the fireballs is a waste of very vital time here. I had no stamina, so there was no play I could make there. Here's the problem I'm running into with this fight in particular. Because of the fact that I feel like I'm forced into a time limit, I keep making poor choices regarding my stamina management to try to rush the fight down, because I don't feel like I have a choice. But for her to have a physical attack that does basically half a health bar on top of the constant curse drain, kinda sucks. We may reach a point where I genuinely just have to do some research on my own to figure out how to handle this. In fact, we're about to go into ads, so let me find out where a curse bite ring was, at the very least, because reducing the curse buildup might solve this entire thing. Okay, those two sell curse bite rings. I was right that I saw one being sold. And I genuinely think that this is literally my only option here, is to just have curse resistance so I can do this fight, because I genuinely don't see any other way out of this. Okay, so that's how I get the curse bite ring. Is there anything else I can do to try to deal with this situation easier? Because the good news is it's only 9,000 souls to buy one. That's not bad at all. And thankfully there's two different people that sell them, so I don't have to worry about that. Oh, you know, that makes a lot of sense, too. Thank you for the gifted sub there, Zeri. Okay. That's good. I'm glad to hear that for you. I have come up with an answer, I think, to solve our problem here. It's gonna take a little bit of legwork. But there's one thing I want to try before we end up doing the legwork. And it's something I should have thought of a lot sooner. Because in hindsight, it makes perfect sense. But I didn't think of it completely. And that's on me, admittedly. And I'll explain in detail when we are out of the ads. So everybody is in the same position as far as that goes. Because everybody should be out of ads here in a second. So, welcome back from the ads, everybody. I'm not actually going to go get the Curse Bite Ring. Because I've realized something. I am overlooking the Ring of Binding. Limits HP reduction when hollow. Now, my understanding of what this does is that the more times you die, your health bar reduces. The reduction from Curse and the reduction from Hollow are apparently mechanically the same thing. So this means the Curse doesn't make my health go beyond a certain point. Thus, in theory, rendering that problem moot. We will still be taking the HP drain, but our max won't drain past a certain point, making this infinitely more viable, which is what I was assuming when I was saying there has to be a trick to this. You're fine. I've come to my own conclusions after doing a check on the statistic I was concerned about. And if plan A doesn't work, I do have a plan B. Because ironically enough, it's the very thing that I had swapped off of because it was getting weakened, and I just hit the wrong goddamn buttons, and I need to do it again. Because spell power scales with hollowing. Since Curse and hollowing are the same thing, I can take advantage of that to then do a lot more fire damage in the second half. So the Scythe might not actually come into play particularly here at all. But what did you look into, Charlotte? I'm curious. I assume it was much the same thing of how to avoid the Curse problem. Which the two answers I saw were Curse Bite Ring, and that's when it clicked about the Ring of Binding. Where I can mitigate the amount my health bar gets pushed down. See, I shot at them before and they didn't die, so I just assumed they were indestructible. Oh, yeah. Well, good news, my primary melee uses lightning, so that's fine. The downside being Strike is the one thing I really don't have anything good for. I have a hammer with Strike, but the damage difference I don't think would matter. Because things that are weak to it usually don't have that egregious a weakness too badly. But with the Ring of Binding, we should have it this time. If not this time, we are in a good position in general to do this. I can't believe we never just happened to end up breaking one of those wisps at any point. Though, that is ridiculous that that is the case. It's also hard to tell that you're even hitting them. But hey, if it works, it works. Just clear the ones over here on this side and we're basically in a good position. I just avoid her swings and her magic and we're otherwise good. Maybe it's just me, but something made out of magic like that generally isn't something you're allowed to destroy, so it's an easy assumption to make that you just can't destroy them. But I keep forgetting that shooting and attacking have different rules in this game for half the things. Which is, again, that wonderful thing I've talked about so many times about consistency. Yeah, but let's be real here, it's Dark Souls. Unfair is not exactly something they're super concerned about at all times. Wow, that hit hard. Am I really gonna beans this now? I'm waiting to see what she decides to do. Okay, she's summoning right now. That was a good time to get a double drink and get back to full then. So I'm not risking it at this point. Down she goes. This is another case of why I say that things like this end up being unsatisfying, though. Is her fight in and of itself was very easy. It was purely the curse mechanic that made that fight anything. Because her attacks are slow, her spells do a lot of damage, but they have a massive telegraph to them. And this is how I end up in that awkward spot of, like, I just don't have the same, like, yeah, from it. It's like, I did it, but that wasn't that much of a thing. And now I end up with the awkward, like, why did it take me that long to do that? But hey, let's proceed to the throne. Hell yeah. See, that's the personality difference coming into play there. But that is, unless there's a trick that comes into play here somewhere, that is 2 out of 3 of the Dark Souls games done. That is such a dramatic staircase.
You who bear the curse. Once the fire is linked, souls will flourish anew, and all of this will play out again. It is your choice to embrace or renounce this.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is if they hadn't just given it a curse mechanic that is really annoying, unless you figure out the gimmick. Is that's what that boils down to, is it boils down to that being a gimmick fight.
Great Sovereign, take your throne.
This chair is too big for me.
What lies ahead, only you can see.
And thus he lived in the little bubble until the end of his time. And then some other poor fool in the next game is gonna have to do it all over again. And that's kind of... I love that it's saying Scholar of the First Sin, even though this wasn't Scholar of the First Sin. How did that end up getting changed? Huh. They changed the credits even in the original version. The fuck is that? Still, this is a good game. I did very much enjoy my time with this, despite how parts of this may have seemed. Is outside of three fights out of all of them? Yeah, I think 3 fights out of the entire game upset me in any significant fashion. The Nashandra fight, I'm still upset about, despite the fact that we made it work. I'm just upset at that design. Is for it to be such a wild 180 between being super nasty and being piss easy tells me that that's not well designed. If you can have such a wild shift like that, they should have rethought that. I had a similar amount of problems with Dark Souls 1 overall, because there were, again, just a specific handful of places that were really bad for me in Dark Souls 1. Mind you, we also skipped parts of it because I knew how to get around them. That's neither here nor there. Is the way things ended up scaling out when we got to Anor Londo, for example, felt bad. But that's Dark Souls 1, we talked about it in Dark Souls 1. Problems here in Dark Souls 2. Other than the Chandra, the duo fight leading right into her was kinda nasty. I didn't like the Iron Keep. Like, 90% of the Iron Keep just was not any good for me. Yeah, I didn't do the DLC either. But that's more because that wasn't what I had agreed to do. Though I also was fairly done with the game by that point, too. Other than Iron Keep and Nashandra, though, the biggest other thing that aggravated me in this game was... Actually, no, I think that was the main ones. Those were the main problems. And the climb up the Dragon Keep was a little overdone. I do feel like that was overkill for the fact that you were there very little. I feel like that entire climb was made a little too arduous. Because literally all you do when you go to the Dragon Shrine is you climb up, you talk to the Ancient Dragon for a minute, and then you leave. The absolute fucking slog of that final staircase just is unnecessary. But I will say, I definitely still enjoyed this more than Dark Souls 1. And here's the thing. It's mostly because of the fact that I felt like I had more options that mattered in this one, and I had more places to go that felt like they were reasonable choices, instead of feeling like everywhere was on kind of a flat field at a certain point, and everywhere felt bad to go to at the same point that you're at. There were ways you could take that were just legitimately better for you to take. Oh yeah, that's the unfortunate downside to this series in general, is the player base can ruin your experience. Okay, they added the credits for Scholar of the First Sin even when you're not playing the Scholar of the First Sin version. They just added a second set of credits to this fucking game. Are you kidding me? Like, by all means, applaud all of these people that did all the hard work to make this game, but did you really need to put the credits here twice? Like, by all means, have the Scholar of the First Sin credits in Scholar of the First Sin. This isn't that. Why is that? Why are those credits here? But like when I had first played these games back when they were newer, I very much had that same problem of the community almost ruined the series for me. Because I was getting invaded so fucking often and I just could not make progress because some jackass would show up and ruin everything. Like, you're already struggling to make progress and then some fuckwit comes rolling up and kills you. It's like, great, now I gotta do all that again just because somebody decided to push a button. Hooray, I'm so happy. But I've mellowed more about that with time. And at least this game, for example, gives you the option of using your effigies to prevent people from invading you in an area. They understood that this was a problem. They gave you an ability to actually prevent that. Yeah, because that's one of the places that's popular to harass people, or at least it was at those times. And I fully expect we're gonna have more problems with that when we go through Dark Souls 3. And I think I'm gonna take a week in between again. Like, actually, no, I said I was going to take a week in between, and then we started Dark Souls 2 straight away because I was excited about it. But I'm gonna actually take a week off of Dark Souls next week. At the very least. So we can take a break just from the series in general and come into Dark Souls 3 with fresher eyes. Now, as to what I'm gonna do with that time in between, I don't know yet. We have to do all of our cleanup as far as our Lurkit stuff goes this week because they're gonna run out of time by next week. Because I do have a time limit on doing those games. So that's obviously not going to be an option. What I might end up doing, because we do still have a couple other things I owe from the Donathon. Specifically, we have Little Nightmares and Hades 1 that we owe. What I might do is we might just get through doing Hades 1 and then we'll come back to Dark Souls 3. This way, there's a nice refresher in between. Obviously, it's going to take a few weeks to get through Hades. And that's only Hades 1, before anybody gets excited. This is only Hades 1 that's on the agreement for that. Two would be a whole other endeavor. Now, considering the way Hades works, I do need to have a discussion with y'all about that. Because I do have a save where I had already been playing Hades 1 for some time. We have to kind of figure out what the logic's gonna be on what constitutes a playthrough of Hades 1. And absolutely, Zara, you go have a good night. Thank you again for that raid you brought along and for sticking with through this mess we had here toward the end. And being here for the final victory. Hopefully you can get some good sleep. Let me go ahead and log this game into the record book of what has been finished. Which, fun fact, this is the only thing we've beaten this month. The same goes for you. There we go. We have one game for May, and that is our 20th game for the year. We are 4 times times what the month is now for this year so far. I am continuing to hold to my goal of beating at least one game a month. And I will say, even though I may sound kind of lackluster about having beaten this, I am very happy to have beaten it. I did enjoy my time. I want to make that very clear. And it's doubly nice to have beaten this, because much like it was doubly nice to have beaten Dark Souls 1, this closes another book for me. This was another game sitting in the back that had beaten me. I had lost the will to push through each of these games in their own ways in their time. So being able to come back and actually finish these is very nice. Like, that really does, like, give closure for these things. That said, we are definitely done. Like, that is the end of today. Yes, we are wrapping up. It's very early in the grand scheme of a stream, but I don't have anything ready to go as a follow-up like I was talking about earlier. And based on how this went, I do think it's better to just end right off on a high note instead of pushing on when I already was getting frustrated, especially considering the main things that I would push on to are things that would potentially frustrate me if I wanted to keep the Tuesday list going, because it would either be going to Hades or going to Dark Souls 3. Both of those would be risk of igniting the flame that there's kind of embers of, if that makes sense. Okay. It's actually gonna work out nicely because of a message I just got that I'm wrapping up now then. And that is a positive thing, not a negative thing that I'm talking about, that I just got a message about. Is it means something I can actually follow up on quickly instead of them having to wait for me to follow up with them about it. So that's actually good. And considering the Tuesday tradition has continued, by the way, of today being the hottest fucking day so far of the week. With a fan running, it's still like 75 in here. So that also works out. But I just need to figure out where we're going. Because, as usual, I have too many options. Like, it's never a matter of I don't have options. I have too many options. So I'm going to take away the audio while I check on some people and see where they're at. Yeah, you're about 3.5 hours in, so you might not go too long, but I never get a chance to raid you, so you know what, we're going over there anyway. I have decided that this is happening anyway. See, the thing there is, I'm not even popular because I have that long list. That is a matter of I have followed too many people. I have spread myself out far, and half of these people on this list don't even know I exist. The other half do know I exist, but half of them just don't even know yet. They're gonna find out, but not right now. Mia's gonna find out that we're coming in because she is playing some Overwatch, and why not go suffering to suffering, shall we? Try to boost people along. That's fair. Considering the line of thought you were heading down, I was half expecting to see a message elsewhere, or either to yell at me or to finish that thought in other ways. Anyway, thank you all so much for taking the time to be here. we will be back tomorrow for a bonus stream that's probably gonna be about as long as this was, to cover a couple Lurkit games before we cover the rest of them on Friday. We'll be doing a repo lobby on Thursday, and we'll be doing Archipelago plus something else on Saturday. Because I almost forgot I agreed to do something this Saturday. And it would have been real awkward if I double booked this. But let me just double check to make sure I'm talking about the right thing before I say the rest of this. Yes, that is scheduled for May 30th, which is this Saturday. Is this Saturday at 8 o'clock. I'll be playing Granvir with some people from the Dragon Council. I won't be naming names yet because it's not confirmed who all is going to be there quite yet. But that is a thing that'll be happening. Yeah, let's go give Mia some support. You've seen Mia Vel on here before. She hasn't been in that often because a lot of the collabs have been later in the day, and that's just not a time that lines up for her too well. But we're gonna head on over there anyway. Go show some love to our friends as we do best. We support fellow gremlins here, damn it. So, thank you all again. Be good to Mia, she's good people, and I will see you all tomorrow. Hopefully. Good night, everybody. Do 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 do.